What's up, good people all across the world? This is the Drippin' in Black podcast. I am your host, David V. Lewis. And per usual, we have a very special guest. This time it's the Creators Drip, Volume 3. So the guests are the two creators, myself and Mr. Shawn Smith, S squared. S squared said what's up to the world.
What's up, world? I don't know why he's still calling me a guest, but okay.
All right, so we know how this episode goes. We have a little conversation between ourselves. We break up the monotony of the excellent storytelling, and we chop it up over a few topics, right? So, of course, one of the main things that we've all had to deal with is COVID-19. So as a part of the creators' conversation for this episode, we thought it would be smart for us to talk a little bit about COVID-19, the impact it's had on us as individuals, and the impact that it's had and played out with regards to the podcast. All right, so let's kick it about this idea for our creators' conversation. All right, so Shawn Smith, COVID-19 2020 hits. How did it affect you personally?
Well, first it hit, we was on spring break. I'm a college professor. We was on spring break when it first hit. And it was funny. Well, I think it happened a little bit after that, though, when we had a conversation about Drippin' in Black. So I had to hurry up and get to put the ones that was not online. So mine wasn't as bad. I know some people had a heck of a time. So mine wasn't as bad. Working from home, I didn't have to drive to Lansing all day. But some of that stuff I missed because that's where I listen to my podcast and stuff like that. But I made it up by sitting at home and doing the other stuff. How about you? How did it hit you when it hit?
So, it's funny, man, when I think it hits me in several waves, if you will. Because the first time it hit, this is another, I always think about, I'm on camera, should I say these things? The first time it hit, I was thinking, this feels like a snow day. It feels like it's going to be
right.
Extended little break. Cool, and I have two grandchildren. Well, now I have three grandchildren, but I have two grandchildren that are school age, and they had just got the report cards and they did very well. And my plan was to take them out that weekend,
right,
and celebrate their report cards. So I was going to take them to airtime, and we're going to have a ball at airtime and everything, and so when we found out the school was closing, I was thinking, well, cool, I can take my grandkids to airtime, and don't have to worry about going into work on Monday and blah, blah, blah. And then, as the weekend got closer, I started realizing, airtime may not be a good idea, And then I was talking to my son. I was saying, well, maybe I'll just take them to the movies, take them to the movies and take them out to eat. But then even as the weekend got a little more close, I was like, well, that's probably not a good idea either, And so again, it was kind of like hitting me in waves, like how serious it was, So initially you think it's not that big a deal. Then you get into it, and then they lock everything down. And, I'm a person that likes to go out and, go out to eat, see people and all that. So it's been quite the challenge, man, for me, quite the challenge. Yeah. So what did you think about when did it really hit you what we were actually dealing with?
I think when I would say when it got locked down, when stuff started closing, and that's when it really started. The class stuff, that wasn't as bad. Personally, like I said, I wasn't driving up to Lansing, good or bad, or that situation. I think when it first got shut down, we'll go out and go get our coffee. In fact, just before it got shut down, that's when we said we might need to do dripping in black, because one of the we told the story. So go look at the other episodes, go find out the entire story. But that's when we first started saying, okay, we could do this. We thought we had somebody to do the video and stuff, and said, okay, cool.
Yep. And
Um,
we had a location as well.
oh yeah, had a location, had all that stuff, and that stuff got shut down probably before we got out the door, pretty much. Because a little bit after that, they got shut down for real, for real.
Yeah.
So
And the
then
day that they shut it down, we were planning to go out to that coffee shop.
right,
Yeah.
and we had, then I had to decide, we're getting ready for this online stuff and didn't really know how it's going. I said, well, I don't know what this is going to look like. So if I'm going to be here this was probably a little bit, probably 4 to 6 weeks after the first initial shutdown, started ordering equipment, because I don't know if I got to teach from home and do it live. I
Mhm.
learned two new words, asynchronous and synchronous, as far as classroom is, because how we
Oh yeah.
conduct classrooms. And I said, okay. So we didn't know. So I started buying, like I said, green screen, because again, I'm taking care of my mother, and I had to make the basement a work area because I couldn't do it upstairs. 'Cause I'm taking care of my mother up there. So I had to make a workstation. So green screens and all that other stuff had to be bought, mics, and I'm also got dripping in black in my head. But again, I'm not really thinking about the video stuff. And then when we had to sit there, and our video guy kind of fell through, well, let's go learn this. Since I'm sitting here, my class, again, I was fortunate enough that a lot of my class was already online, or a lot of that stuff was already there. So I just moved on and started learning. Like I said, I went to YouTube University and learned a whole bunch of stuff. Um, so it, like I say, it affected, being at home all that time, but it was, I had to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so we both get, like everybody else, personally impacted by COVID. And, so it has these, definitely negative aspects to it. Of course, the worst being people dying from it, right? But, us being limited in what we're able to do is second behind that, I would say, right? But we noticed that there is a common thread when we get the guest on and we talk about whatever the guests are, And so we've had guests, wide range of guests, people that work in education, people that work in filmmaking, people that are entertainers, people that are business people, nonprofit organizations. And COVID, of course, has affected each and every one of our guests. So, and we noticed that in a lot of cases, there was this common thread. So we want to talk a little bit about the common thread we've seen uh, amongst our guests with regards to COVID-19.
Oh yeah, we the guests, when we listened to the guests and we listened to all these stories. Again, we didn't tape them in order, but we listened to all these stories. And the first one, which is our first guest, that we all participated in, was the Black Lit Matters. We could do a book club now that we all sitting down and working from home and things like that. So that was the first one. And that idea, shout out to TCB and Jerron, the Bryants. that was a great idea. So, you know, we started sending books, and we read, and we developed a definitely community. BLM, they know who they are. Shout out to them. You know, so stuff was created. You know, Dripping in Black was created during that time. So, you know, that actually to give the platform, because we wanted to hear, if you want to say we selfish, we wanted to hear those stories. And we know that a lot of other people needed to hear those stories. That's the educator in us. We know people need to hear those stories. You know, we mentioned about Kanita Smith in Georgia, and you know, her the race that she had for her late husband, the Neon Dion race, went virtually. So, you know, it broadened that platform, and they used it to their advantage to broaden that platform. Chris Johnson, he created, I don't know how he still did it, he created a big band and made money by making these videos and being commissioned to make music virtually. And they were doing a big band. If you need to, please go see Chris Johnson's work. And he has a lot on his webpage and on YouTube. And we talked about Lauren Hicks, which was our, you know, when you're seeing this was last week's episode. And she talked about how she used that time to solidify the Lojo collection. So she actually finished her fall collection in that time. So, you know, all these people, they use this time to create. You know, we was joking as a group. You say either you're gonna gain 15 pounds or you're gonna lose 15 pounds. It wasn't nothing, a lot of stuff in the middle. It's either how you're gonna use that time, because you would probably never get that big bulk of time again in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
Not like that.
Yeah. And we heard that as well too. We heard that kind of repeated. So if you watch back and see all the episodes, and how many episodes have we done to this point, Shawn? Minus
15. 15.
All right, 15 episodes, and there's that common thread that you would hear about. Of course, we have to talk about COVID because it affected everything, but it's a common thread in, you know, what I was able to do in that time. And if I didn't have this time, I wouldn't be able to do this. Kind of hear that all the time.
Right. There was some negative stuff as well. We ain't trying to do the negative, like the film festival. Miss, you know, I'm about to say her name wrong. Brignoni's film festival was canceled, and I really missed that, because that was something that I put as a staple in my summer schedule. But you know, overall, a lot of stuff was created, and you're going to see even more after this episode, when we start dropping the next set of episodes.
Yeah. So of course we're looking forward to the end of COVID-19, but you know, it's definitely impacted us all, and thought it was a great conversation for us to have here at Dripping in Black about how it impacted us personally, but also how it's impacted our guests. In a lot of cases, it's impacted our guests in a positive way. They've created, and some of the guests, of course, the challenge of COVID has also impacted them. But you know, it's been quite the deal. It's nothing like it that I've ever experienced in my life, where one singular thing impacts everything. And that's what COVID-19 has been. So, all right, so we'll close out the creators conversation, and we'll get into, as the creators drip, the staple of the drip of the month. So the drip of the month is for the previous month of before we recorded, what kind of stood out to each of the creators about that particular month. All right, so we give our little spiel for our drip of the month. S squared, let's go. What you got this time?
Our drip of the month this time, I named it New Titles. And I'll give you a little background. And when I woke up this morning, and I actually had this one before the last second, usually I'm the last second one. Um, I had it before, but it solidified this morning when I was doing my reading. And one of the verses that came out to me was, counsel in the heart of man is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. And that's Proverbs 25.
Mhm.
And I equated to one of the things that I created when we was reading a book. And again, I do a lot of my thinking when I'm walking. And I came up with something for myself. And I said, what do I do? And I said, I synthesize thoughts and I create masterpieces. So these new titles that I came is with people that my blessing comes from helping others achieve what they want to achieve. You know, that's part of the educator in me, the calling of education for me. And I got a couple people I got to shout out. The first one is Dr. Ingra Rogers Howard. She tested my statistical skills and helped her with her dissertation, the statistics of her dissertation and stuff. And to see her finish, and again, you're gonna see her in those things. You see her finish, that was great because again, she tested my gangster stat skills because I had to learn some stuff that I didn't have quite down. But she did it. Another
So
one.
talk a little bit about that because I don't know this story at all. And so you said, so you have a relationship with this newly
Oh,
minted doctor, right?
oh yes, Dr.
That,
Rogers.
that,
We went to high school together. We went to
uh-huh.
high school together. Pontiac Northern, go Huskies. We went to high school together, and she probably saw me talking online and stuff like that. She said, "Shawn, do you know statistics?" I said, "Yeah, I'm teaching statistics. I need help with my dissertation." I said, "Let me go look at it. I could look at it and see what we did." And she showed me this. She showed me what she had to do, what she was doing.
Mm.
And I said, okay, let's get at it. This is what we need to do. And we worked at it. We worked at it and she finished. I want to say summer, somewhere around there. No. It was at the beginning of this year, of 2020.
Mm.
And she's a full-fledged doctor now.
Okay.
And I love it. I love it because that's what I do. That's where my blessing comes in, at when I can help you enhance. It wasn't me. I was just a guidepost in that.
So she taps you because of your math background, but she's doing a dissertation on statistics with
She
regards to
does
what?
dissertation in education. She has
Okay.
a doctorate of education, and they gotta they have to do some analysis on some studies and stuff that they were doing, and we worked on the statistical side. I worked
Okay.
with the statistical side with her.
Okay. Cool.
A couple other ones. I just had one. Actually, this is more recent. Now I could call her Professor Leslie Allen. One of the people I went to. I didn't really go to school with Leslie, but we went to the church together. We were brought up together. I'm a year older than Leslie, and Leslie was. We was actually just talking and just shooting the breeze, and she was talking about her desire to be wanted to teach.
Mm.
And so, we always love to recruit teachers and professors and stuff like that. So we started talking, and she just told me that she got a position. They came to her. That's why, again, it ain't me upstairs, man upstairs doing this thing. Came to her and said, "We'd like for you to teach this class. You did such a good job on this." And I did some work with her in her statistics class as well. And she said that you did such a good job. We want you to teach this class. Um, she should be Leslie, if you're watching this, you should be a guest on Dripping in Black. Your form is coming. She just let me know that she got that position. So it's new, and she was setting up the class. And again, I do a lot of working while I'm walking. So when I was walking, I was saying, okay, this is what you set up. Don't worry about this. Worry about this when you're setting up your class and stuff like that. So she's about to get started soon this semester. So I can call her Professor now.
Mhm.
Couple
Wow.
couple of other ones. Learning assistant DeWine Henley. He was one of my students in my Math Noir, and that was a program I set up at LCC for it had emphasis with the students of color, black students. Let me say that better than that. Black students, student of color, and any other underrepresented, or anybody that just wanted to come. But that was my emphasis. And one of the things I wanted to do, you got to sneak and get into the situation, is I wanted to also have my students be ready to be a learning assistant. And he did so well, he actually became my learning assistant. And he was still in the program until he moved on, which is another title of his. He's a Spartan now. Go Green.
Go
And,
Blue.
and actually, now this one I didn't have nothing to do with. He had some other titles. He got an expected father and husband coming up. So congratulations to him and Simone on their recent additions coming up soon, and doing their thing. Some young folks doing their thing. And
So jump in again, because you said
yeah.
learning assistant. So what's the learning assistant actually?
A learning assistant at the college that I work at is a student that works with the professor. He's kind of like a tutor within that class, and
Okay.
he has his own office hours. They also tutor in the what we call our learning commons, which is our campus-wide tutoring sessions and stuff like that. So he got a chance to do that as well as work with me. But like I say, I would like to kept him longer, but he moved on like they supposed to, moved on
Right.
to Michigan State and doing his thing. So shout out to DeWine. We had a great time. And he's, like I say, he's doing this thing, and I'm proud of him. And then, of course, all the titles that we got because of Dripping in Black. So that was the last one. There's a couple other ones in there too, but yeah, shout out to the host David V. Lewis, and he makes sure we and as producer and host of this, and he got some other positions that's coming along, which we'll talk about in next steps, or drops on deck. So some other titles is coming, but what we doing as well garnered some title changes,
Okay.
some title additions.
So new titles for the month of December is your drip of the month.
That's my drip of the month. The people that got those title changes or title additions. That's what I want to call it.
All right, that was very creative. And
I got to go off the beaten path. Wouldn't be me.
Well, I think I might challenge what you did there, because my drip of the month is going to be the end of 2020.
All right. End of 2020. All right. Let's do that. Let's hear this one. Challenge me. That's why we do it. That's why we in the reciprocity group. Do that thing.
Yeah. So I was thinking about, when I think of drip of the month, is something in that month that captures my attention, my imagination. Maybe I find it very inspiring, or it's just something that was the major story of the month, right? And so when I thought about last month, it was the last month in this crazy year that we had of 2020, and it brought that year to an end. And I can remember getting close to the beginning of this year and the excitement that I felt, and when the calendar flipped, how happy I was when we got into January. Not saying that all the problems are gone away. I understand that things are still out there, but it was just something refreshing about this new year that I haven't felt like that in so many years. As you get older, these holidays just become more mundane and routine, right? But now this new year really feels like a new year, a new opportunity to change course, right? And of course, during December, right, we have, we have the vaccine come about. We have the president-elect actually becoming more into that role. Still not really getting the peaceful transition of power. Everybody's
Right.
familiar with that phrase now, like they did in most other elections, but still, gaining traction in that regard. So there's some hope on that end, and then we see, to me, it's like we can see, the analogy of the light at the end of the tunnel. And so for me, just the end of 2020, to turn the page on that, it started off with, tragedy. I know a lot of us think about Kobe and when that happened, and then it just seemed to cascade from there. And it's amazing. We think about these years as they go by. You lose a lot of people, right? Um, some of them are personal, and some of them are like people we've known all of our lives because of their celebrity. But this year, I don't know, maybe it's just me. It seems like we lost quite a few stalwarts in terms of celebrity and sports and entertainment, to go along with the madness of the year with COVID and, 45 as president and all of that stuff. So, it was quite the year. On the flip side, I think, I'm a positive thinking person. So I'm excited about the sowing of seeds, if you will, that 2020 allowed for people to do. And, we talked a little bit about it in the creators conversation, but I'm excited about the sowing of seeds and what's going to happen as those seeds began to come to harvest. So, I think that was all in my thinking when I thought about this as the drip of the month, the end of 2020, the start of 2021, and we turning a page.
I got you. Okay. I'm glad to see it go. And when you talked about loss, we lost a lot of folks unexpectedly,
Yeah.
and not even to COVID, So, like you said, you had the Kobe incident, you had Chadwick Boseman,
Yeah.
and those are things that blindsided on top of all the stuff being
Yeah.
in the pandemic and being that. So yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So by 2020, hello 2021.
Hello, 2021. And Dripping in Black is excited about 2021. So we have a new final segment, and it's called Drips on Deck. We thought it would be smart for us to actually talk about what we have coming up, the episodes we have coming up on the Dripping in Black podcast as we close out this creators drip. So S Squared, give the world a glimpse of what we got coming up next on the Dripping in Black podcast.
I was hoping that you started, but I will. First thing, one of the stuff that I work as the executive producer is getting the we both do this, the African American History Month lineup together. We did the Future Five, and now we're about to get into the African American History Month lineup. So that's coming. Next up, the last of the Future Five is Dr. Erica Edwards. Well, that was a very good episode that will be dropping on the 21st. We got some projects in development, and that's all I'm going to say about that right now. We got some projects in development, so I want you to listen up again, subscribe to us, and talk to us on our social medias, because we're still striving to get some more interaction with you all, and so that's big, which is my next one. I loaded Clubhouse, and people to know about the Clubhouse app and things like that. That's very interactive. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I will by the end of this month. So you can check us out there. We'll start putting up some posts in there. I know I'm doing a lot. One of the ones I want to do is talk about beginner podcasting and what we've learned and what we've done, and we want to talk to other people. If you're interested in that as well, you can come on in there. Find me, Shawn Smith, in there, or I can actually invite you in if you're interested. But we'll talk about that. And also, one of the things I want to do in this part and drips on deck. This actually is a drip on deck because this person is coming. We'll have an episode with them soon. Ricardo Alonso from Wave Vibe, and I got my Beast Mode cup. I try to support all the people if they got some items out there. I try to support them. You've seen us with our Black Lit Matter shirts on, and I try to support the people that comes on there because I want to be about it. I just want to talk about it, and you got stuff out there and I'm not doing. So I got my Beast Mode cup. So Ricardo, yes, it came in beautiful. I love it. This is the first time. Matter of fact, this is the first time I opened the box and did my tea thing.
Yep. So a lot of great stuff coming up on the Dripping in Black podcast. As S Square spoke of, the next episode is Dr. Erica Edwards. A little background on that. I don't think I got into this in the episode, but I actually met her through work. I got drafted for a leadership team at my job, and she was one of the coordinators of the team, along with a partner of hers. Partner of hers. She works for Wayne State, and her focus is on racial equity. And so her work has been tremendous with our school and trying to get us centered around this idea of racial equity for our students. The conversation gets really rich, and so I'm just looking forward for that episode to come out. And again, like Shawn has been imploring people to give us some feedback. We are open. We want interaction. We want to know who's listening. We want to expand our audience. And so if you've been checking us out, reach out to us. Let us know what you think. All right. So I think this is a good time, S Squared, to drop our social media stuff where people can reach out to us.
Social media on Facebook and Instagram, we are at DIBK. That's the short version of Dripping in Black 20, 20. So DIBK 20 on Instagram, Facebook, and actually Twitter. I even got the Twitter one up. So those are places. Our episodes can be watched on the drippinginblack.com. That's our website, as well as on YouTube is the DIBK Dripping in Black short version channel on YouTube.
Yeah. Yep. And then we have one of the things that we like to do when we drop the Creators Drip episode is the Dripping in Black Challenge. All right, Dripping in Black Challenge is real simple. We are celebrating Black excellence, Black heritage, Black pride by posting something on our social media that represents Black excellence, that represents a Dripping in Black attitude. All right, so a lot of people have been posting their gear, themselves in clothes and dressed up, but we just welcome all kind of posts that represent Black excellence in any manner that you see that represents Black excellence.
Articles as well, and we're using the tag hashtag Dripping in Black Challenge. So you don't have to guess. You don't have to worry about, I forgot about the DIBK. It's Dripping in Black Challenge. If you put in hashtag Dripping in Black Challenge, we will get that, and we use that information. We're going to use that. We're going to use it for promotion. We also going to use it for giveaways and stuff, because that is coming soon. We're going to give away something during Black History Month. So That's one way of getting something. It is at hashtag dripping in black challenge. So it's make it easier. Matter of fact, we'll probably put it on our Facebook page and stuff like that. So all you have to do is copy it and put it in whatever you want to do. It could be an article, it could be you dressed, you just exuding that attitude.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I prefer the dress. I like to see people dressed up. I like to see people with that dripping in black attitude. But articles are adequate as well. Anything that you feel is dripping in black, put that hashtag dripping in black challenge behind it or in your post. And then also you can tag me at David V. Lewis. All right. So I'm on Facebook. You can tag me at David V. Lewis. If you are not a friend, send me a friend request. All right. And then we'll get you in and add you to our dripping in black challenge, data that we use and stuff that we're going to use in the future.
Right. And like and share the page wherever you are, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, like and share the page. Share it because we got our group now. We want to expand the Dripping in Black family.
All right, that's squared. So we did our creators conversation, we did our drip of the month, and we've done drips on deck. I'd say we close this episode out because we're not about ourselves, really. Right.
So folks out there, be well, be safe in those COVID streets, and much love.
And as always, be good, be good, be good. It is a choice.
You have just experienced a Dripping in Black production.